And there's some breaking news we have to bring you right now. There's fire. Fire has gutted an adjoining building here at the Multimedia Group at our premises. My colleague Matilda Omega is just right out of the studio and is standing by to bring us details. Matilda, what can you report?
Live from the front of our streets, close to the multimedia building, just adjacent the building, which is popularly known as the Blue Building. Fire has gutted some compound just around this privacy. So you can see from the shots that the cameraman is giving to you, yes, if some people are even trapped in their buildings. As we speak now, there are two fire tenders trying to douse the fire here. But I must say that this building has not affected any of the multimedia buildings. It is just adjacent the multimedia buildings. So we'll be engaging some of the residents. We are learning that the fire started around 11 a.m. So for 30 minutes, residents have been devising their own means to douse the fire. As you can see, there is still smoke coming out from the buildings. A lot of the residents here have been affected. A lot of them are out on the streets, including some staff of Multimedia trying to protect themselves whilst we wait on the fire service to finalize everything. I'll be engaging some of the residents here, as particularly those who have been affected, to speak to them to get their understanding of what exactly triggered this fire, because the fire service came in like some 20 minutes ago and they have been trying so hard to douse the fire. We can see smoke from some of these buildings just around. There are a lot of stores right in front of this building that has caught fire. So we'll be speaking to a lot of the shop owners whose shops have been affected, and then speak to some residents who have also been affected by this fire. Anti-Pearl, who time a journey started here?
Me share them na me to say Joy FM. Into me pay na me say Johnny there. Into crofo mo ha no mo sanso na me make atro mo so mo fa omongo so. Into me sanso na enye ye into e bi wo ho na me tasta me pay there. E ho na guy bi o say oba e draba kwa ha. Na me so fa we kese ne besi ho. Na me hwe so no mo fa omongo so na e fa ngo so.
Na unim ne Emma Johnny started here.
Me to me chire. Me bedu ye na ya start e shiwa enso de we ade odum no na e call the say na me to mo fa gallon ni mbra ha no mo fa omongu so mo di sio na me to omo na ehia enti omo de omo ni ba enti omo di sio ni na be fa omo ni papa we guy we papa we enti ye na me ko peja nso na me di gu gallon no mo ahwe no mo di egusu
I have been speaking to a resident here. According to her, they don't know what exactly triggered this fire, but once in their room, they realized that smoke was coming out from one of the buildings from the compound, just adjacent the Multimedia building. So they rushed out to douse the fire because none of the buildings around had fire extinguishers. So a lot of them had to improvise their own means of dousing the fire. So they came out to support before the fire service came in. I'll be speaking to more of these residents. As you can see, a number of them have come out in their numbers, including some staff of Multimedia who are trying to protect themselves from the fire. A lot of them are out here on the streets hoping that the fire service will do a complete job for work to continue and then for residents to also move back into their homes. A number of the shops here, I can report, have not been affected yet, but because they are just at the front view of the building. If you can see from the shot, these are the shops right in front of the building which has scattered fire, and not far from that same building is a school building, and that I'm told has not been affected yet. So I'll be speaking with the human resource manager here at Multimedia to also give us some understanding. Raymond, you're live on JoyNews. Let me speak to you. how did the fire start? Did you get any understanding as to what triggered the fire?
Well, I was in my office about 2 buildings from where the fire occurred, but I've just spoken with one of my officers, and he tells me that I think they were standing right in front of our administration block, and a woman came from the adjacent block crying that the house was burning. So they asked her to stay calm and give them updates of what was basically happening. So what a piece from the story was that I think one of the rooms at the back of this building, that is where the fire started. And the woman, asked the children to move into the room when the rain started. Then as soon as they entered the room, they realized that the room has caught fire. So quickly they rushed out. And as you know, when settings occur, state of confusion setting. Yeah. So she came out crying, and then that is where our officers saw that there's a need to react quickly. They got the fire service number, called them, and then they started a process of ensuring that we safeguard our property because we are very much adjacent to where the fire started. So,
Mr. Labi, you can confirm that none of Multimedia buildings have been affected?
Certainly, none of our buildings have been affected. The one that was close to where the fire happened is our administration block. So our guys were on standby. We used all our extinguishers, and they've done a yeoman job, and they've ensured that our business is intact. We also ensured that it could not catch the other buildings that were in the block. So at the moment, the fire service people have ensured that the fire has been quenched, and I'm sure very soon the place will be restored to normalcy.
So thank you very much. But let me also find, has any staff of Multimedia been affected by all this? I realize a number of them are on the street here.
Not at all. In terms of the building, no issue. In terms of the human resources, no issue, because all the managers were out and we were guiding our men who were getting water with soap, fire extinguishers to ensure that everything was safe. So we ensured that nobody got too close to the fire. So we ensured that all the safety measures were in place. So at the moment, we are safe. We are just outside, and I'm sure within a couple of minutes, we'll all get back to our desks to continue with our daily job.
Thank you so much, Mr. Labi. So you heard from Raymond Labi. Raymond Labi is a human resource manager here at Multimedia. Dispels rumors that Multimedia building has been affected. None of Multimedia buildings have been affected by this fire. We'll be speaking with a number of these shop owners who business have come to a halt for them. A number of them are waiting on the fire service to ensure that everything is safe for them. You can see from the shot the fire tenders, 2 fire tenders on the streets of Fanofa trying to douse the fire. Let me speak with some business owners here. Good morning, Kwabna, do you know how the fire started?
There were shops in Muna, one lady named number 2. APA, the Johnny started one hono. On in Kalani PSA, Yambuana, a jat on ho. And you beside say Banis or say in field tono, then Kalana shed and about Nim near a Johnny started. That's all the Nimano.
Niamuniman Munim, and a Jan Munim say, a stati free a Derma, say, fear compound, will be here, Gianna. Then
to me, because I was shop Nimuyeni, a fear Nimu. I didn't start here no Mupia and say, you say, a Jabi aso Fionomo. Say, they to me, my information about it.
Okay, so he has just been explaining to us that he was in his shop when they got the alarm that one of the houses was on fire. So they tried to come out of their shops, trying to engage other people to support the residents in their rooms to come out for them to douse the fire. A number of them own shop just along this stretch, and I'm told it is the house that has been affected. We don't know whether it started from a room or from the main compound. We will go inside and then try and speak to some residents. We'll go inside and speak to some residents in there. So let's try and have a better view of the compound that caught the fire. So we are going in now to get some details, to get some understanding as to exactly how the fire started. So I have a number of residents here, including some fire officers here, to speak to have some understanding. as to what exactly triggered the fire. You can see from the shots there, some rooms have been destroyed. A number of rooms have been destroyed on the premises. So let me first speak to some residents here and then understand how exactly it started. So you just came. So you don't live on this compound. So you also just came just like everyone. Let me speak to more of these residents here. You live not far from where the fire started. Do you have an idea how it all started?
No, I was asleep, so I didn't know how it started. Okay.
So you don't live on this premises? No. Okay. So she doesn't live in this premises. I would speak to some elderly persons here to find out from them how exactly this fire started. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Can you please give us your name?
Okay.
So how did it start? Did you live on this campus?
Well, I'm around here, but I'm not in this house.
Sorry?
I'm not within the area.
Within the area. So do you have an idea how it all started?
Well, what I hear is started from this room, the small room.
The small room?
Yes. So where is the building? Yes, around here. So
do we have an idea who was in the room? Was it a kitchen or bedroom?
It's a complete bedroom, plus kitchen. Fine. So maybe it could be cylinder or anything could happen. Yeah, cause the whole thing. Yeah.
Do we know whether the person was inside when the fire started or he's gone to work?
Because all the children are away. The woman was there, but she just escaped with the children. The woman was there, but she escaped with the children.
So she came out with her children. It was a woman in there.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, this is what I know.
Okay, so Ernest, we are learning that it was a woman and her children. They were in the room where the fire started. They were in the rooms when the fire started, so they had to escape and run for their lives to get some support from residents, in order to put out the fire. I have with me another resident here to speak to get some understanding as to how the fire started. Can you give me your name, sir?
Madam,
Ben. Yeah. So Ben, how did the fire start?
Me wahanom na me ba beto ade na hu se me ti ade bi boom. Me ti bi boom pe na hu se jana start say APP. Enti jana start say APP no, yen share try say ye be dum no yen share kra water hose say try say be do ye bia entum na afre fire for no. Enti anche bia na fire for no so ba e no mo nso de omo nso we ni ba no mo de be kan na afi da meja no edum. Na nka enyo omo anka ja no asase kra pom brass ye. No more than into my BBI fine. You see a Janasia brass. Now, Namity say almost a gas. Almost a gas, or almost a cylinder. And I don't know your journey, and I said, I know the near.
We had to move out of the building because the fire service officers asked us to step out in order for them to complete their jobs, because it's not entirely safe in there for us to be in there to be doing our interview. So I was just speaking with this man who says, Bernard, who lives around this area, and he says that what they are learning is that the fire was triggered by a gas cylinder from one of the rooms on the compound. As you can see, a number of the shops down here have not been affected. It's a two-story, and all the shops here are intact, I'm told. None of them have been affected yet. When the fire service is done with their job, we will try to engage them as to what exactly they have possibly gathered from this short rounds that they have been doing here. So I'll continue with my engagement with this resident here to find out from him what exactly he knows. So into Mamina know what dynamo na is your Ejane started. or emphasis here?
Mamma no odwane ba bontene enso pe baabi na ye de ne ko gina because ono say na ejane ye na eto ne so hu de obeye nti ekope baabi na ye ma ne tena na according to ono no say oye aduane kakra bi wo honom e no hu say cylinder na leak oti ya ne say boom nti oti boom no no dwane pia bontene oba be fresh ye nko yenso ko say na ho aye no ye ntumi anya wo hwe
Mame no oti ana
Mame no nkwa no pie ba ye ode mirika pie ba ye ne enim de one ne te wo dem no nkwa no de mirika epie ba bontene ye pe baabi ma no na ye de ne ko tena ye nti si ane say na ejane incident ni si ye no ono no pie ba ye no a de ne ko tena bi no no be kan say oye aduane na hu say leakage bi fi cylinder no leakage na fi cylinder no no na oti say pum anu ntiro dwane yen hwe rush ko ye no yen hwe ntumi anya wo hwe ye bo mode ayen obibi ansa na efre fire for no na mo de car ne ba ye na mo nso ma
ba so ejana anka obia
ejana anka obia na mmom omo dem nioma mo bibia nioma ahye gode.
So you heard from Ben over there. So Ben has just been narrating to me details of how he got information about this fire outbreak just along the just around the Kokomlemle, adjacent the Multimedia building. So he's been telling us that the fire started from a room just adjacent the Multimedia building, and what they gather is that it's a woman who was cooking in the kitchen. Then she had, so the explosion first occurred in the kitchen. So she ran out of the building, tried to get some help from residents in the neighborhood, and thankfully no one has been injured, no one has been hurt throughout this process. We'll be engaging more residents here. You can see a number of them are out here on the street trying to protect themselves, trying to stay safe in order for the fire service to complete a job. As we know now, the fire tender is still here, the fire officers are still here, trying their best to ensure that the place is completely safe for the residents to move back into their homes, for the shops to continue operating. So we'll continue to stay here to bring you all the details that you need to know as far as this fire is concerned. Earlier we spoke with the human resource manager of the Multimedia, and he says that the fire has not affected any of the buildings here at Multimedia. None of the buildings here have been affected, and no staff has been injured. For now, he can say that everything is safe. We are only waiting for the fire service to complete a job for us to continue with our work. Ernest.
Matilda, thank you very much for bringing us up to speed with what is happening on our premises on the Fanofa Street. So if you're just tuning in, the story is that a building adjacent to the Multimedia office has been gutted by fire. As it stands now, no one has been injured. The Multimedia group has not been affected in terms of property and the staff, and we're all doing well right now. The fire service is on the ground trying to douse the flame. You saw in the pictures there what exactly is happening. The suspicion is that this might have started from a cylinder explosion. Matilda is still on the ground. We'll bring you more in just a few minutes. Daniel Dazi is on standby with JoyNews today. Thank you for your time here on News Text. There's more news at myjoyonline.com. Stay with us.